Let's get into a replay. It's been a minute. It's been a second. Been a hot moment since we got to cast a game. I haven't played in 2 months. I don't know what the meta is, though there's been no patches, so I'm guessing I can pick it up pretty quick. Got a game of Kislev Wood Elves here. Let's check it out and see what's going on. A lot of cavalry. Looks like we have 4 dervishes, 3 Griffin Legion, 4 Kislev. So a lot of light and heavy cav. Unbreakable heavy cav, pretty good against archers, so the Wood Elves better beware. And it looks like we have our own range contingent. Front line of hybrid armored Kossars, and then back line of Kossars and Kossars spears. So 5 hybrid archers, 4 hybrid pistol heavy infantry. And what does our caster have? Ice Maiden's Kiss and Crystal Sanctuary, but a really rough start with Overcast that did as much damage to your caster lord as the enemy, it appears. Okay. For the Wood Elves, we have Eternal Guard and Dryads, as cheap of a front line as the Wood Elves can possibly field. A couple Glade Guard, Starfire Shafts, and Haybane Tips, so a good mix of magic damage, poison, and fire. Then some Glade Riders and Wild Riders of their own for anti-cav, and a Spellweaver of Shadows with just Melkoths to hopefully tax down those Griffin Legion if they're going to use their spells effectively. But really the Wild Hunters of Kronos are going to have to do a lot of the work in the cav fight. Archers aren't the best at taking out the Griffin Legion. Heavily armored, shielded, heavy cav is difficult for archers to DPS in time. Crystal Sanctuary is down for the Griffin Legion, netting them in place, but giving them 80% damage resistance, making them even better against the Wild Riders than they already were. I'll turn the volume on my game in case it comes through as an echo. That'd be bad. Archers now trying to support the cav fight, realizing that they're running out of time to stay online if those cavalry are allowed to, run through the back line unmitigated. Dervish almost dead, but all 3 of the Griffin Legion are so far doing pretty well, so great start here for Kislev. Also going well for Kislev is getting through the front line without much issue. Dryads and Eternal Guard can't quite stand up to armored Kossars in melee combat. Now we have a lot of DPS coming down on the Griffin Legions. I just saw Melkoths wearing off, and the archers are focused firing them without that Crystal Sanctuary to keep them safe. Another Griffin Legion trying to get around Eternal Guard and get into that back line. So we do have armored Kossars and Kossars getting into range. It does look like they're going to focus on just using their ranged capacity. They're not going to walk up in melee. For the Kossars, I guess it's fine. For the armored Kossars, I would like to see them just walking at the Wood Elf archers so that they can't keep firing at the Griffin Legion like they are. Also, we have a lot of cav piling up here, but I don't know. We're getting a flank engagement onto Glade Riders with spears, which is fine. Like, that will help you kill them faster. But all this is trying to do is to keep you here as the archers can keep firing. So probably just wanted to ignore it with this Kossovite Dervish and get around them and disrupt more of the archers that are firing into this cav blob. So what would normally be a good play by Kislev, like a good wraparound engagement, maybe not the best, trying to focus on the actual win condition of the battle. Wild Hunters of Kronos taking a lot of damage, but they're dealing a lot of damage to the Griffin Legion, and again, just holding them in place for those archers to consistently get more damage out. But here we go. First real break into the archer backline for the Kislevites. Griffin Legion and Kossovite Dervishes mucking up 2 archers over here. A summoned Snow Leopard and the Ice Witch herself are stopping 2 other Glade Guard over here. Looks like the Glade Guard do have guard mode on. They're just trying to shoot regardless of being in melee. The Wood Elf Cavalry is looking like a pretty depleted force, but they've done their work. They've kept Kislev away from the archers and done a lot of damage back to these guys. As now the Griffin Legion, who previously we were complimenting saying they were very healthy, I think are almost entirely eliminated. I see 2 with incredibly low health bars here, and a 3rd with an impossibly low health bar on the far side. So the heavy cav of Kislev is nearly a spent force. Meanwhile, the frontline fight continues. Kislev should continue to win that frontline fight, but so far the frontline has not been able to compromise the archers much. The Wood Elves having to fall back. That Snow Leopard is fake, will fade away in, it looks like, 17 seconds. Then after that, they're looking a lot better. Re-rallying some archers, getting more Wild Riders back into it. They could kite and charge and all these things into the infantry, but the infantry of Kislev is going to be a bit of a problem. A lot of healthy armored Kossars with high armor and silver shields. Neither the Wild Riders nor the Glade Guard are going to have an amazing time versus them. It's going to take a while to get rid of those Kislevites, and they are trying to take the point right now. Somehow the Wood Elves have managed to keep that from being a thing, but soon it looks like the Kislevites will take that capture point and start a timer that the Wood Elves can't keep running and gunning them around the map. Alders of Kronos take a lot of damage. Other Wild Riders also appear to be on the chopping block. So Armored Cossars are going to line up a pistol shot into these shielded elves, but I mean, you're already so damaged. They're still going to be losing models despite their shields. So, yeah, we have a little conclave of archers getting their shiz back together and firing on this one Kossar Spears. Melkoth is also going to damage us. So it's a pretty bad time to be one of the spear-wielding Kislevites in this area. Severely outskilled by the Elven archers and in a 5v1, though these archers are all rather damaged. Wild Riders do a final charge into the back line. Looks like they're trying to get some damage onto the Kislev Lord, but there's a lot of armored Kossars here to protect us. They're just going to back off. Rear charge Kossars and Spears, putting themselves in danger of a little bit of friendly fire, as those unbreakable Kossar Spears aren't going to rout any quicker due to your rear charge. Oh, by our blood. And there we go. Kislev has captured the point. Starting to tick up now. Another Ice Maiden's Kiss takes out some more of the Glade Guard. Other Glade Guard is starting to shatter. So of the 5 we had back here, we have 1 shattered, 1 routing, and 3 still trying to return to the fight. More Melkoths getting spammed out onto armored Kossars. Arrows also lighting them up, as the Kislevites just want to cleave any Wood Elves that dare come near them. Soldier of Shadows is also trying to hold them back. It looks like the Kislevite Ice Witch is going to go in the back line, do more Ice Maiden's Kiss, and just try and rout these guys enough times that they shatter. I'm a little surprised the Wood Elves aren't turning to fire at her on her way in, but I think she would have been pretty good at dodging those. That actually might have been really good discipline from the Wood Elves, but, you know, just so used to seeing everyone turn and shoot towards the Lord that you can see as soon as they do turn and shoot towards her, she just starts dodging. So yeah, it looks like the Kislevites were very ready to start dodging around with her. The Spellweaver of Shadows is actually going to push her away, and I wonder who's the better combatant here. 25-34 versus 38-35. Ooh. Kislevite Caster is actually significantly better in melee. Has about half the HP of the Spellweaver of Shadows right now due to various attrition, but still. A little spoopy if they get into a fight. She also has like 33% more weapon strength. Spellweaver, gonna try and get a rear charge, but they end up doing a little dance, just running around each other for a moment. Archers still gonna focus on the armored Kossars as they get hit with another Ice Maiden's Kiss. Some of them gonna rout. Yeah, both of them gonna rout. We have 1 archer and a wild hunter left. Meanwhile, Spellweaver gets in a fight with the Ice Witch of Ice. Spellweaver's getting some hits in. Every hit does count towards a lot. Bounce powers of just about 50-50. We have some basic Kossars in the background, pushing off any Wood Elves that attempt to take the capture point. And the Ice Witch is not winning this engagement, is going to start running away from the Spellweaver of Shadows, who is right behind her, trying to get some rear attacks in. Ah, there are Wild Riders coming in. That's why she wanted to avoid this engagement. Doesn't look like she successfully avoided it. But the Wild Riders do get distracted by charging straight into armored Kossars on their way over to stop them. 1 Wood Elf Archer is online, the Wild Rider and the Lord. Though an Ice Maiden's Kiss attempts to get rid of those Glade Guard. Looks like their Elven leadership will hold for now, but an Ice Witch seems determined to get rid of them. Speaking of getting rid of them, it looks like we're trading an almost dead Glade Guard for routing these 3 different Kislevite infantry who are trying to come back into the fight. Wild Riders and the Lord running through them. They've already used their Buyer Blood, I suspect, for most of them, so they're pretty easy to rout at this point. Kislevites have decent leadership, but they're not like dwarves or anything. They do rely on that Buyer Blood to be truly tenacious. Bounce power goes heavily into the favor of the Wood Elves. There's another Melkoth, takes out the armored Kossars, and now Kislev's only advantage that was left for them was those armored Kossars. They're just hordes and hordes of heavily armored infantry. Those are now gone, so it is a nearly dead Wild Rider and a pretty healthy Spellweaver of Shadows versus a very low on HP Ice Witch of Ice, but her superior combat stats, if everybody routes off and it turns into a 1v1, maybe she can just RNG her way through this, but the Wild Riders are going to catch her. She's not able to get away, and she does take a rear attack from the Spellweaver of Shadows, who manages to miss somehow. You think getting a rear attack and a charge attack would let her get a shot onto a 35 melee defense Ice Witch, but I guess not. Melkoth's onto the incoming Griffin Legion as all the Wood Elves randomly abandon their lord. The Griffin Legion are in, and the Griffin Legion somehow have way better leadership than the Wild Riders. All right, take that, elves, and your legendary leadership. So lots of damage in out of this lady now. Griffin Legion down to 26 HP and still in the fight. I'm actually shocked the Wild Riders abandoned ship more than I'm shocked the Griffin Legion are fighting literally to the death, as a couple of them are right next to their Lady Lord. That makes it look not that surprising that they're currently winning this fight. Wild Riders try and come back, and again they rout, but the Griffin Legion with 26 HP is fine. 600, no. All right, Wild Riders. All right. Peace out. Down to 1 Griffin Legion. It is now dead. We have a 1v1 between the Lords, but all that time to kill the Griffin Legion did let the HP get evened out between these two. And you can see that, as we mentioned before, the Ice Witch of Ice is a way better combatant. 23 to 28 and the 31 to 32. I guess not way better, but still better, especially in the weapon strength department. Spellweaver Shadows trying to fight back. Melkoth's just taking down the Ice Witch a little bit, but it's truly a 1v1, so you might as well cast that spell while you can. Neither side has any forces coming back whatsoever. And it's just an RNG fight for the moment. Spellweaver Shadows has appeared to get a couple hits in onto the Ice Witch, who's down to 1,000 HP. Spellweaver, 1850. Loses about 300, so must have taken a hit there. Loses 300 more, taking another hit. Hasn't got a hit on the Ice Witch of Ice in a while. Man, you really haven't gotten any hits on the Ice Witch of Ice in quite a long time. I know whenever I say things like this, people pop up in the comments and run the exact math. But I mean, it's got to be a little unlucky. Okay, it's got to be a little unlucky. She literally hasn't hit one time with a melee attack of 23 versus 32. Like, I don't know. What did we just watch? You can rewind. I can't rewind while I'm recording, but like, I think that was 8 attacks in a row she missed. That's got to be at least a little unlucky. Come on. See, Ice Witch hits her in the face. Misses again. At this point, Melkoth's on a single target is going to do more damage than their melee attacks. Hey, she actually hit one. Nice job. You hit one. Bounce power is still heavily in the favor of Kislev. Kislev doesn't have any reinforcements coming now. Man, this is just a very sad slap fight between two caster lords. Neither of them is really getting many hits in, but there the Kislevite gets another shot. Bounce power takes over and knocks the Wood Elves out. That was a good battle, and it came to the very, like, nail-biting end, but then I love how it was just two pathetically weak melee caster lords just trading missing blows. You don't think it'd be that bad with 20 melee attack versus 30 melee defense, but you'd be wrong. Wood Elf caster got a lot of value, considering she was probably super cheap on just horseback with Melkoths. Archers did fine. Cavalry did pretty well overall, considering their jobs. I scrolled through the Kislevites, but no crazy value on their cav. They ended up just in a lot of blobby cab fights with the Wood Elf Cavalry. Had a hard time getting onto those archers and getting true charges that knock them out. But Codex's Lord got a lot of value. Armored Kossars all did pretty fine, so it is what it is. GG.
Subscribe, yes.